It's Betty again. I'm so glad you stopped in to see me. I'm just so thrilled to have anybody coming in to see me. I'm glad to get an audience, because I have so much to say and I want to share it with you. Well, today I would like to although I wrote a lot of stories of myself, original stories and poems in my creative writing class, and just sometimes just sitting on the bench outside watching the world go by. I'm inspired by different people walking by, or the leaves blowing in the wind, or a bird or a pigeon or something. Something is going on. I'll just write a little story about it. It's good. It comes out of my mind and down on paper. And sometimes I'm surprised at what I wrote, because that's the way when I put it down on paper, that's the way I see it. But today, although I wrote a lot myself, I want to give tribute to a person that I think is worthy of it. And I was given this book in 1970, and I'm not really a reader, but as I started to read this book, I was so impressed. I saved it, and I call it like the Holy Grail. And sometimes if I'm thinking about a different subject and I just want to know something about it, I will turn to that page, and I'm inspired by what the writer has said. This is a Lebanese guy, Kahil Graban, and he wrote this book called The Prophet, and it came out in 1923. When it came out, it sold 5,000 copies a week. I mean, people were so impressed by the way he talked. And Walt Disney has used some of his work in, I think, some kind of when that some of the Walt Disney stories, like the lion was supposed to be Messiah, the head of his community, but he had such a deep voice, and when he spoke the words, people just went and they listened to him. But Cahill Graban, he lived in an era before television, before mass media, before cell phones, before outside influence in your community. So everything that the people knew in the town were things that everybody knew. Everybody knew everybody's relatives or who they were married to. Everybody's business, really. You just didn't have to see, because the town was so small and people didn't venture out too much. Mostly women didn't work; they stayed at home and raised their children. And the men, they did like construction work, so they had their trucks and they would go around building houses in their neighborhood, and sometimes they would get called out to other neighborhoods to build houses too, to have something to do. And then sometimes people back in the day, they had to draft. So when you turned 18 years old, you had to register with the post office. And then you went into the service, you went into war. I was born in 1939, so you're going around World War II. And you had to register. If you didn't register, you would be in trouble, because everybody had to perform that. To had to register. Just the boys, they had to register for the service. They could be called in to serve their country. But the prophet was, people were just hungry for knowledge. They wanted, all they knew was like stale information. They weren't happy, they weren't sad. It's just that they just got along peacefully. But everybody wanted to know something different. They were hungry for something new to come in. They didn't have TV to bring you up on this or anything. So when you went out of town, of course you came back. You had experienced something, maybe not much, but something, and people all around you trying to find out what did you know. And so anyway, people always listened to their parents and what their parents had to say, which they didn't know too much, but they knew how to survive. And people were just wanting to know different things. They were hungry. They were hungry for knowledge of the world. And he was like, before his time, he didn't have any education, but he just knew things. Like he was just born with things. And he was sort of like a spiritual person when he spoke. He didn't go to church or anything like that, but he was spiritual. And a lot of people called him the Messiah. And wherever he went, he was a young man. And wherever he went, a crowd would gather around him and say, "Oh, please talk to us of something." And they would bring up different subjects, whether it be death, love, marriage, children, whatever. Whatever. They just wanted to hear somebody say something on things, because none of the things that they wondered about. And their things, everything was just limited. And they wanted somebody to expand their knowledge, to say something about it. Like you go to a church and the preacher will bring up a subject and he will talk about it. So you feel enlightened. Well, that's what he did to people. He felt enlightened. He was like a gift. He spoke like he had foresight and knowledge of the world. So he was going someplace this particular day, and a crowd gathered. They wouldn't leave him alone. So this lady holding a little baby in her arms, and she said to him, "Oh, speak to us of children. What you know about children?" And he said, your children are not your children. They're the sons and daughters of life longing for itself. Though they are with you, they belong not to you. They come through you, but not from you. You can give them your love, but not your thoughts, for they have their own thoughts. You may house their bodies, but not their souls, for their souls belong in the house of tomorrow, which you cannot visit, not even in your dreams. You may strive to be like them, but don't try to make them like you, because the world goes not backwards, nor tarries with yesterday. Yesterday. You are the bows from which your children as living arrows are sent forth. The archer sees the mark on the path of the infinity, and he bends you with his might so that his arrows may go swift and far. Let your bending in the archer's hands be for gladness. For just as he loved the arrows that flee, he also loved the bow that is stable. Thank you for that thing. I just had to divulge that kind of information. I think that you would find something in it because people think that because they have a child, they can tell that child to follow in their footsteps. You know, I'm a lawyer, I'm a doctor, I'm a scientist, I'm this and that. And they want the child to be like them. But the child is an individual. You could have 2 children, you could have 10 children, but each one has his own mind and his own thoughts. So you have to, sometimes it's better to let them work at something that they like to do and me paying maybe $2 an hour than is something that you want them to do and is paying $100 an hour. It's better for the child to be happy. He is like when you're doing something that you like, they say you never work a day in your life because you're doing something. Then it's very important for people to be happy. That's why so many people today are taking drugs or they're trying to live like somebody else wants them to live. But you're not letting them be themselves. You're trying to be them like you, or you're trying to make them like you, and that's impossible. That isn't impossible because there are no two people alike. Even twins are not alike, you know. So I don't know this man. This so people just was just so and all about this guy. He was just I this girl gave me the book in the 70s, and I just said, why is she giving me this book? And I said, because I don't read, but I'm not really into reading, I like singing and dancing and stuff like that and doing shows. But as I started to read the book, I was taken back by the book. I said, oh my God, this is so beautiful. And I use it like the Holy Grail. Sometimes if I'm trying to think of something to say, I want to say something to somebody. I will open up this book and see what he has to say about it. And I would say, yes, that's true. But the way he said it was so beautiful. Whatever he says, it just sticks with you. Just like you get a singer. Some singers can sing a song because they're just using the words. They're lip syncing the words, but they don't have any soul. They don't have any soul with it. A good singer that makes me feel like I remember them and is always is the one that has a lot of soul and they speak to you and you just want to stop and listen to what they got to say. If you're not listening, you're wiggling your butt, shaking your heads. Oh yeah, that's great. That's the difference between somebody just saying the words and somebody feeling the words. Just like a great entertainer, somebody will stand up there and they be singing. Sometimes the words they have a good voice, but they don't feel the song. They don't feel the song. So the song is just they're just there. You don't get anything out of it either. That's why they have singers and they have entertainers. Now the entertainer coming out there, and he gonna make you feel that song. Oh yeah. And you say, oh, let have him come back again. Oh, but he can't sing as good as the other person. But to me, he can. But to me, he's reaching me. He's reaching me. He's what I wanna hear when I come out there to leave my household with nothing going on. I want to be entertained. I want that guy. I want that guy or that woman to sing. And so, I don't know, you just have to let people just be themselves and then you get the best out of people. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Come back again. So I'll be waiting for you. Thank you. I don't know. I just had one more thing to say. Love yourself. Love yourself, everybody. Put your arms around yourself and just love yourself for being the oneness that you are. Like I say, Hitler wanted to be, had the perfect race, but he didn't know what the perfect race was. The perfect race is what God made. Everybody's perfect. And that's what I want to say to you. Love yourself and be yourself. Yeah. All right. I think my 30 minutes are up. I think my 30 minutes are up. Right, Carol? Thanks for watching. Thanks for watching. And watch again another day. I'll be waiting for you. I'll be waiting for you. Goodbye. Goodbye. See you later, alligator.